Hey everyone, Dr. Morgastus here. We often talk about common ailments, but today we're diving into the extraordinary, the world of rare medical conditions. From rapid aging to bizarre perceptions, these cases challenge everything we thought we knew about the human body. Get ready for a journey into the fascinating and sometimes unsettling reality of these rare disorders as we uncover the science behind their mysteries.
Imagine a childhood stolen by time. That's the heartbreaking reality for children with progeria. This genetic disorder, also known as Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome, causes accelerated aging, typically beginning in the first few years of life. Sadly, most children with progeria don't live past their teenage years. Their resilience and spirit, however, serve as a powerful reminder of the preciousness of time.
Werewolves might be creatures of myth, but hypertrichosis, also known as werewolf syndrome, is a very real condition. People with this disorder experience excessive hair growth, often covering their entire body. Can you imagine the social stigma and personal struggles they face? Hypertrichosis reminds us that while appearances can be striking, it's the strength and resilience of the human spirit that truly defines us.
Oh, all right guys, buckle up because this one is tough to see. Harlequin ichthyosis. Imagine a baby born with skin so thick and tight it pulls at their eyelids and lips, cracking into diamond-shaped plates. That's Harlequin ichthyosis, a severe genetic disorder affecting the skin's protective barrier. Many babies don't survive the first few days due to complications like infections and dehydration. Their skin makes it difficult to regulate body temperature and fight infections, but with intensive care, some children defy the odds and live longer lives. We're not going to put any imagery, but feel free to look it up. Just be prepared for some disturbing pictures. Elephantiasis. Sounds like a medieval tale, right? But it's a real and devastating condition caused by a parasitic worm transmitted through mosquito bites. Blocked lymphatic system leads to extreme swelling. Early treatment can kill the parasites and manage symptoms. Okay, gentlemen, this next one might make you squirm a little, or maybe even excited for this disorder. Diphalia, a rare condition where a male is born with two penises. It occurs during fetal development when the tissues that form the penis duplicate. The extent of the duplication varies. Sometimes it's partial, other times fully formed, often associated with urinary tract abnormalities requiring monitoring and potential surgery. Diphalia is a reminder of the human body's occasional hiccups.
Imagine waking up and recalling every detail of your life. That's hyperthymesia, where memory is practically perfect. They remember dates, conversations, even breakfast from years ago. It sounds amazing, and in some ways it is. Imagine acing tests or recalling complex procedures, but the constant memories can be overwhelming. It's like a mental highlight reel, not always pleasant. It can be draining and difficult to focus on the present.
Have you ever wondered how our brains process language? It's a complex symphony of neurological activity. Sometimes this system can go haywire, leading to foreign accent syndrome. Imagine waking up with a foreign accent. It's the result of neurological damage, often from a stroke. Damage to brain areas can alter speech, creating a foreign accent. The accent doesn't match any specific language. It's a blend of different accents, creating a unique speech pattern. Imagine the frustration of being misunderstood in your own language. It's a reminder of how fragile our brains are. We've all felt disconnected from reality at times, but imagine believing you're actually dead. That's Cotard's delusion, or walking corpse syndrome. This rare illness makes people think they're dead or immortal. They might stop eating or caring for themselves. Causes are complex, often linked to severe depression or brain injuries. Treatment involves therapy, medication, and support. Imagine looking at your hand and seeing it grow to an enormous size, or feeling like your body is shrinking. This is the unsettling reality for people with Alice in Wonderland Syndrome. Named after the classic Lewis Carroll novel, this syndrome distorts perception. Individuals experience distortions in size, distance, and even time. Linked to migraines, infections, and epilepsy, it's often temporary, particularly affecting children and adolescents. Deep within our brains, the temporal lobes play a critical role in memory, emotions, and sensory processing. But when these lobes are damaged, things can get really strange. Enter Kluver-Bucy syndrome, a rare neurological disorder with bizarre symptoms. Imagine experiencing a complete lack of fear, even in dangerous situations, or having an uncontrollable urge to put everything in your mouth. These are just some of the unusual behaviors associated with Kluver-Bucy syndrome. Individuals may also exhibit hypersexuality, making inappropriate advances. The exact cause can vary, often linked to brain injuries or infections. Treatment involves addressing the underlying cause and managing symptoms.
Our bodies are incredible machines, capable of healing and regenerating in remarkable ways. In fibrodysplasia, ossificans progressiva, or FOP, the body's repair mechanism turns against itself, transforming muscles into bone. Imagine your body slowly turning to stone, movements becoming restricted as bone replaces soft tissue. This is the reality for individuals with FOP, a rare genetic disorder that progressively imprisons its victims. There's no cure, and treatment focuses on managing symptoms and improving quality of life. Despite challenges, many display incredible resilience and determination, living life to the fullest.
All right, guys, buckle up, because we're diving into a condition that's as rare as it is fascinating, Proteus syndrome. You might know it best from the story of Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man. Proteus syndrome is all about overgrowth, bones, skin, other tissues. They grow excessively, but it's not uniform. Imagine one hand significantly larger than the other, or bones in the face developing abnormally. This unpredictable growth pattern makes each case unique and challenging. It's not just about physical differences, but the impact on a person's life. Healthcare goes beyond treating the physical. It's about understanding the whole person. Ever seen someone with incredible flexibility? It might be Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome or EDS. EDS affects connective tissues, the stuff that holds our bodies together. Skin, joints, blood vessels, all impacted. The most noticeable symptom: hypermobility. These joints bend beyond their normal range. Think frequent dislocations, chronic pain, and fragile skin. Living with EDS can be tough. Imagine the constant fear of injury and the emotional toll. Awareness is key. The more we know, the better we can support those with EDS. Okay, friends, let's talk about Marfan syndrome. You might associate it with tall stature and long limbs, and while that's part of it, there's more to this condition than meets the eye. Marfan syndrome is a genetic disorder that affects the body's connective tissues. People with Marfan syndrome often have a distinctive appearance. The real danger lies beneath the surface. It can weaken the aorta, leading to serious complications. Marfan syndrome can also affect the eyes, lungs, and spine. Early diagnosis and treatment are crucial. Medications can help manage symptoms. Knowledge is power, my friends. SCID, or severe combined immunodeficiency, is a stark reminder of how crucial a healthy immune system is for survival. You see, our immune system is like a highly trained army, always on guard against invaders like bacteria and viruses. But for someone with SCID, that army is practically non-existent. Even the common cold can be life-threatening. This is why children with SCID are often called bubble babies. They need to live in completely sterile environments to avoid constant infections. Imagine living your entire life in a bubble, unable to experience the world without extreme caution. It's a difficult reality, but thankfully, with advancements in gene therapy and bone marrow transplants, there is hope for these patients to live a more normal life.
Kuru, a rare and devastating prion disease, reminds us that sometimes tradition can have terrifying consequences. This illness, once prevalent among the 4 people of Papua New Guinea, was spread through a unique and tragic practice: ritualistic cannibalism. Specifically, they consumed the remains, particularly the brains, of deceased relatives as a mark of respect. Little did they know, this ritual was spreading a deadly misfolded protein throughout their community. Kuru attacks the brain, leading to a progressive loss of coordination and control over muscle movements. Imagine the horror of losing control of your own body, your limbs jerking involuntarily, plagued by tremors and spasms. The saddest part? Kuru was entirely preventable. Once the link between the disease and cannibalism was discovered, the practice was stopped, and the incidence of Kuru thankfully declined. It stands as a chilling reminder of the importance of understanding the implications of cultural practices.
Now, who wouldn't want to be a sleeping beauty, right? Well, not so fast. Kleine-Levin syndrome, often called sleeping beauty syndrome, might sound romantic, but it's far from a fairy tale. Imagine sleeping for days, even weeks at a time. That's the reality for people with this rare neurological disorder. They experience recurring episodes of excessive sleep, sometimes lasting for 15 to 20 hours a day, but it's not just sleep. Other symptoms can include disorientation, confusion, even childlike behavior during waking periods. Their lives become fragmented, punctuated by these unpredictable episodes, making work, school, and relationships incredibly difficult. While the exact cause of Kleine-Levin syndrome remains a mystery, researchers believe it could be linked to dysfunction in the hypothalamus, the part of the brain that regulates sleep. Next, we're diving into Guillain-Barré syndrome, or GBS. Imagine your immune system turning against you. That's the reality of this rare autoimmune disorder. In GBS, the immune system attacks the peripheral nerves. This can lead to terrifying symptoms. Weakness and tingling are early signs. GBS can progress rapidly, leading to paralysis. With early diagnosis and treatment, many can recover. Let's talk about porphyria, a group of genetic disorders that can feel straight out of a vampire movie. It disrupts the production of heme, a crucial component of hemoglobin. Imagine not being able to produce heme properly. It's like a kink in your body's assembly line. These porphyrines can wreak havoc on your system. Some types cause extreme sensitivity to sunlight. Remember those vampire myths about avoiding sunlight? The connection is fascinating. Next up is Sturge-Weber syndrome, a rare condition that affects the brain, skin, and eyes. It often announces itself at birth with a distinctive port wine stain, typically found on the face. This birthmark indicates an overabundance of blood vessels, potentially in the brain as well. This can lead to neurological challenges, including seizures and developmental delays. Sturge-Weber syndrome reminds us that what we see on the outside is often just a small part of the story. All right, guys, buckle up because this next one is straight out of a psychological thriller. We're talking about Capgras syndrome, where patients believe someone close to them has been replaced by an imposter. It's terrifying for the patient and heartbreaking for their loved ones. Often linked to brain injuries or psychiatric conditions, it's a real challenge to treat. Let's dive into a rare genetic disorder affecting Ashkenazi Jewish descent Riley-Day syndrome. Also known as familial dysautonomia, it disrupts the autonomic nervous system. This system controls crucial functions like breathing, heart rate, and digestion. Symptoms include poor muscle tone, difficulty swallowing, and insensitivity to pain, plus problems regulating body temperature. Sadly, there's no cure. Treatment focuses on symptom management and quality of life. These individuals show incredible resilience. Get ready for a real medical head-scratcher, Anton syndrome. This rare condition makes blind patients believe they can see. It arises from damage to the occipital lobe, often due to a stroke. Patients confabulate, creating stories to fill visual gaps. Diagnosing it involves vision tests, brain imaging, and assessments. Treatment focuses on helping patients adapt to their blindness. With support, they can navigate their world. All right, guys, this one is straight out of a sci-fi movie. Imagine your hand, your own hand, acting independently, as if controlled by an external force. That's the unsettling reality for those living with alien hand syndrome. This rare neurological disorder can arise from a stroke, brain tumor, or neurodegenerative disease. Essentially, the brain's communication with the affected hand gets scrambled, causing it to act autonomously. It might reach for objects, unbutton shirts, even slap someone, all without the person's conscious control. Can you imagine the feeling? It's like your own limb has turned against you, acting on its own accord. Treatment often involves occupational therapy to help patients regain some control and manage daily tasks. It's a testament to the complexity of our brains and a stark reminder of how much we take for granted in our everyday movements. From a hand with a mind of its own, we move to a condition that affects the very way we express ourselves: Moebius syndrome. This rare congenital disorder affects the cranial nerves responsible for facial expressions. Imagine being born without the ability to smile, frown, or raise your eyebrows. People with Moebius syndrome often have a fixed facial expression, leading to social challenges and misinterpretations. It's a stark reminder that something as simple as a smile is crucial for human interaction and connection. The syndrome can also affect the muscles controlling eye movements and speech, adding further complexities. Despite the challenges, many individuals with Moebius syndrome lead fulfilling lives, finding alternative ways to communicate and connect with others. They teach us that true expression goes beyond facial muscles, shining through personality, resilience, and inner strength. From progeria's rapid aging to the phantom limbs of body integrity identity disorder, we've journeyed through a spectrum of rare and often misunderstood medical conditions. These stories, as diverse as they are, share a common thread. They remind us of the power of empathy, the importance of medical understanding, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the vastness of the medical world, but I believe that knowledge is empowering. Understanding these conditions fosters compassion, breaks down stigmas, and paves the way for better support and research. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. Subscribe for more deep dives into the extraordinary world of medicine. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay compassionate.